Once you get FDA or MDR approval, your compliance work is basically done.
No.
Startups can't afford proper compliance systems early on.
False.
Regulatory excellence is the foundation for safe innovation in medtech, but many companies still struggling to get this right. And that's why today I'm with Edwin Lindsay from CS LifeSciences, who is helping navigating companies this complexity. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
So let's start putting in context our audience. What is CS LifeSciences doing in the medtech space?
So CS LifeSciences predominantly work with startup, early stage companies, spinouts. We do move on to the big multinationals when required, but we really help take innovative products to market through quality, regulatory and clinical. I've set CS LifeSciences up as like a one-stop shop where we've got a number of technical experts, so we can go in and really support the startups with all aspects of their medical device, their IVD technology, so we can they don't have to go out and get a number of different consultants. We'll act as a one-stop shop for them. And in this day and age, it's starting to get more and more like that. It's getting more technical, so we'll bring in the aspects of that to really support innovative companies.
Indeed. Before we dive deep into CS LifeSciences' role in the medtech space, we're going to play a game.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you some statements. You're going to tell me if it's truth or if it's fiction. All right? Are you ready?
Yes.
Let's start. So, once you get FDA or MDR approval, your compliance work is basically done.
No.
False. The hardest part of regulatory approval is documentation.
False.
Startups can't afford proper compliance systems early on.
False.
AI and digital devices will force a complete rethink of how regulators operate.
False.
False. Right? We're going to see why this false.
I don't think it'll take over fully. It'll be AI has to learn, and the data has to go in, has to be good, but you'll still need human interaction there. It will never replace humans. I don't think. I think it would be too dangerous to replace humans at this point. Maybe after I retire, it will be. But I still think we still need human interaction. We still have to train the AI, especially in science, especially when you're working in the clinical aspect, off-label usage of other devices. I think you still need humans to feed the AI system the data in that it's correct. Because if the data's not correct, it's going to be wrong. So we have to. AI is still developing. I think it's still got a few years to go yet, just to get it right, to gather the information. And my biggest fear is if we put AI in, it will replace people, their knowledge. It could make people lazy, and that's my worry, because there could be mistakes made. People could rely on AI without actually checking things, which I've seen already. People use AI where it doesn't give you the right answers, because I like to challenge AI and see if I can break it.
Indeed.
And that's one of the biggest risks I have, is it will be a big help going forward, but I don't think 100%.
Indeed. So CS LifeSciences is next to companies in the whole product cycle, life
Yes.
cycle. So when they approach you, they come more often with problems, right? What are these companies doing wrong when navigating the regulatory complexity?
One, using ChatGPT, think they can do it themselves. Two, not understanding the regulatory and what's needed, because they see regulatory as a burden. But if we work with a lot of startups early stage, where we try and define it with them, try and get their regulatory strategy. A lot of them don't actually even know their intended use of their device. It's kind of very wide, or they don't understand what their device is going to be used for, or they've got various scenarios which doesn't help the regulatory aspects of it. So they come with potentially even a device that they've already trialed clinically and it doesn't work, or they don't have any documentation. So we work with all sorts of people from, as I say, very early stages where they've tried to do it with using ChatGPT, or like we've seen companies use it to write the quality system. and then they'll come to us and say, we've got major non-conformances by a notified body. And then we can tell right away that they've used ChatGPT or some sort of AI system, but they've not actually read it and understood what it says, because it's scalping the internet, gathering data. So we'll look at that whole aspect of not intended use. They've not done the right testing. They've not developed it to scale up. They've not got the regulatory documentation. They've not spoke to the FDA. So that there's every company that we've worked with comes with different aspects and different issues. But what we try and do is help them get through it. That's why we built that one-stop shop with technical people from all aspects. Maybe one example is where they choose the wrong materials, where it's just they're not biocompatible. They've chosen the wrong materials to be sterilised because the method of sterilisation is wrong. So there's all sorts of devices, but the main one is they don't define the intended use and the indications with a lot of them. They've got a great device, but they don't know where it's going, or they have an idea, but they don't fully document it from that strategy.
Indeed. One of the mistakes as well that many companies do is thinking of regulation after the product is done, right?
Yes.
Why it's a mistake, and what we can do for these companies, the advices that you can give to these companies to think of regulation before even the product.
Yeah, so a lot of them will have prototypes, or as I said earlier, they've run clinical trials, but they've not actually thought of the standards. They've not actually defined the roadmap. Where they're going in the world, they'll think UK, EU, US, but it'll all depend on the investors they're working with, if it's a startup. But they don't really look at the whole picture with regards to testing, what's required, the regulations that they're going to have to meet. Is it different in each country? It could even be that the actual usage of the device is different in the UK as it is in the US. So we've had one company recently where it was meant to be 12 hours in the hospital in the UK. For the US, it's 36 hours. So they got all the regulatory testing wrong, because that extension of the 24 hours means there's a lot more different testing to be involved in. So they're having to look at different locks of biocompatibility because it's slightly longer, the electrical safety, just the whole thing about it being in the body more than for 36 hours rather than 12 hours. So it's not, they come to us but think they can cut corners and then come to us too early and it comes too late where they've not actually thought about the regulatory, how they're going to get to market, and they might have to repeat testing. Or they don't think about where they're going next. So as I go back to the roadmap, which countries can we then oversee where testing is the same? Where do we add extra testing on to meet one of your next countries, which doesn't cost you more money? So some companies just look EU and then they forget that there's testing in the US and they might want extra. So getting that regulatory roadmap early on is going to solve a lot of problems.
Indeed. Regulatory aspect is overwhelming, especially for innovators who are new in the industry as well. What are these advices that you can give them to succeed when starting in this pathway?
One, speak to a regulatory person who do your homework and find out who is willing to work with you. Not just to, I set CS up because I wanted to help startups. Startups is my passion. I want to see new or innovative products get to market. Try and find a regulatory body, a company that can work with you, who doesn't bankrupt you, because a regulatory can bankrupt you if you get it wrong, but also a company that are people who will make decisions with you, not just give you options, because most innovators don't know what they're doing. They know how to invent, they know how to bring a product, but they don't know regulatory. That's why they come to speak to people like me. They need to get somebody who's willing to make decisions with them, not just give them an option, because an option's no use for people. Get it early. A lot of the innovators are very wary of paying. They don't have a lot of money. They may just be a doctor at a hospital, a graduate, something at university. Find people who are willing to work with you, who are, I wouldn't say cheap, are cost effective, who've got a good track record. Do your homework, find out who can you talk to, who's willing to work with you and help you get to market. Not just think, well, we can make as much money if we can off you, and then if it gets to market, good. If it doesn't, we've still made the money, and that's the way I've built CS. Is we try and deliver and make sure that the company gets to market. We don't shy away from telling the truth. Too many people are scared to tell their customer the truth, and I use an analogy all over the I'm not scared to tell them that their baby's ugly.
Yes.
Which some people do get upset, but it maybe help them in the long run. That what happens if you tell them early, they won't waste the money, and that's the bit where some consultancies, some contractors are only there to make money, so they don't really care.
Yeah.
I know people say that I might not be that way, but that's the way I've set CS up, and that's the way all our consultants are trained to actually help innovative companies get to market as fast as we can, as cost effective as we can.
You navigate European market and in the US very well as well.
Yes.
What trends you see in the MedTech space in these two different ecosystems?
So the US is fairly stable. They've got a very good process like the pre-sub program. You can talk to the FDA, they've got breakthrough, very good communication. Yes, Europe's coming with different aspects, but the difference that we're seeing over the last 5-6 years is MDR, IVDR. It's slowing innovation down, and it's not because it's not making it any safer or any like not being safe. It's the cost. IVDR, MDR has increased tenfold at times for companies, and even with legacy devices. So the difference is there's companies pulling out of Europe of devices because of the cost. And it's not the cost of safety, it's just the cost of recertification, the cost of actually being certified versus a 510K at $12,000, where it's not any different, it's still as safe. You're still going through a very hard process with the FDA, but a lot of the companies we're working with are coming to the US because of costs. Nothing else, it's costs. And if we don't change that, Europe will be a backwater, just because innovative companies are coming to the US, getting into the market and not going back the way. We've had companies who plans were to come to the US, then go back the way. They've now decided no, just because of the additional costs for MDR, IVDR, and the regulatory bodies, and the kind of additional burden on costs. That's nothing to do with how good or bad the regulatory bodies are, it's cost. Simple as that, that's all I see. I spend most of my time talking to CEOs, directors, investors on costs, and giving them a cost plan and how do we get to market. Okay, well, Europe's down the ladder now. So is the UK. Let's just go to the US. Let's put that extra $400,000-$600,000 into establishing the product, getting it launched in the US rather than the UK or EU, which is bad, and we have to address that.
Indeed. Well, thank you very much, Edwin, for being with us today.
No
we
problem.
can continue talking about this amazing job you are doing in the MedTech space. So yeah, enjoy the conference and see you in MedTech Malta.
Yes, looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.